from where I've came from, where I am now, like when I first started boxing, I just want to go down and it's the best ever to do it from my hometown. I want to be walking down the street in 30 years' time, someone goes to the kid here, see that lad over there, he's the best ever to do it from this town. I believe I'll win titles as well, so I want legacy, that's what I want. I want to be able to look back of what I've achieved and say, actually, like something to be proud of, do you know what I mean? So basically you've got a septal hematoma, which is like a pool of blood, but it's like one of them inside my nose. But because I'd left it for that long, the blood had started going septic, so it was like poison really. So it's saying like if it ruptures, it could be fatal. Like obviously I don't think mine was big enough to be fatal, but it's saying like it needs to come out now.
And like, you had 2 fights with this as well.
My style was a lot more suited to the pro game. I always knew it, and everyone's always said that to me. Like I've done it for that long, I just thought I can't give up now, do you know what I mean? Just like something, like a voice inside saying you've came this far.
Tell you what, it is so cold up north compared to like it's like 10 degrees colder up here.
It's freezing, mate, especially on the seafront as well, like on the coast. It's very cold.
When's the coldest month here? Is it like February? Does it get colder?
All year, mate, all year. This is like summer up here now, I'm joking. It's been quite good this year, but it is always cold. Like
this is why the north breeds so many good boxers, because you handle this every day.
Exactly, mate.
We were knackers,
exactly,
southern softy. What would you call us, southern fairies?
Yeah, southern softies, I think.
So obviously you had quite a big amateur career. You said you had 50 fights?
50 fights, yeah, 50 fights. Won 34, I think, so it's not a bad record. Didn't win any national titles out, but I had a few close split decision things that I thought should have went my way against top kids. So,
what weight did you box at?
69 kilo. So, but yeah, I think out of my 17 or 17 defeats, I think well over half are split decisions. Do you know what I mean? So if they went the other way, a lot more people would know who I am. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of them things. It's the way I fight as well. I'm a come forward pressure fighter, so I'm always in like close fights. You know what I mean? So.
And do you think as well, because you are come forward, when you're taking shots on the gloves, they're probably still scoring them as points in the amateurs?
Well, there's that as well, but like my dad used to say to me, people can run for 3 rounds, do you know what I mean? But that's where I'm a lot better as a pro, because I can work people down, do you know what I mean, over the long distance. So that's what I'm looking for in the pros, where in 3, everyone can be sharp for 3 rounds and keep you off for 3 rounds. It's the ones after and drag people in the deep waters and break their hearts, do you know what I mean?
So what is your style as a pro? Still come forward?
Yeah,
still
come forward, pressure fighter, that's all. I can box. The funny thing is, like, people say I'm probably a better boxer than I am, like, fighter, but that's why I am a fighter. You know yourself, when you're in there, it's like all natural instinct what comes to you when you're in a fight, and that's what comes to me. I just want to fight, do you know what I mean? So.
But also that's how you sell tickets, that's what the fans want.
Well, that's why I do sell tickets, because not only that, it's like where I'm from, it's a small town, so it's like everyone knows everyone, everyone supports everyone. So, but yeah, I am a very entertaining fighter. Yeah. So when did you start boxing? I think it was like first year secondary school. I can't remember. I think I started a bit younger, but then I stopped. But I think it must start about 12. It's about 12-year-old. Yeah, but I didn't take it seriously at all. To be fair, I didn't really start taking it seriously till I was about 18-year-old. I just did it for a hobby, really.
So did you never think you were going to be a pro?
Nah, never, mate. Never. Like when I first started, I was well overweight, like massively overweight, and I had a few fights maybe before I should have even had been fighting. Do you know what I mean? I think it was a bit too novice-y, but anyways, I think I was like, before I was 18, I think I had 12 fights where I lost 8, won 4, and then when I turned 18, the guards came off. And I became a man. I think I won like 10 or 12 on the bounce, and that's when I thought, actually, I can do something here, do you know what I mean? And I just went from there, won a few like North East Championships, won the elite belt, got the national quarters, so just went from there, really. Something just switched, and like the more you win, the more confident you get, obviously, and the more you can actually think, I can go here, do you know what I mean? I can do this. And
what did you change going from a losing record to the winning record? What actually changed in your life? Your mindset, your training?
Mindset, definitely my mindset. Like, it comes with everything. Like, obviously, when you get beat, you're down, and you think, but when you win, you love the feeling, and you think, I need to do this, I need to do that, and everything just keeps. Once the ball gets rolling, I don't know, something just clicked for me, and thankfully it did, because I don't know. I wouldn't be here if it didn't. Do you know what I mean? So I'm thankful it did. Like if I could look back in time now, because I actually boxed on my 18th birthday, and that's when it I won a few before that on the streak. But if I look back now there to see where I am now, I wouldn't believe where I am. Boxing on a massive card in 3 weeks' time at the Metro Arena. It's crazy. So
how's this camp been going to now? Currently, you're in Troy's gym.
Camp's been very good. Some top. Normally, I do a lot more sparring with Troy in camps, but obviously, I'm nothing like Kelly. I'm a come forward pressure fight where Kelly's standoff. So Craig, our coach, has been getting us over sparring for what we need. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's good being alongside Troy and especially sparring him, because you're not getting much better sparring than that here. So especially at my weight. And
your opponent, obviously, it's early on in your pro career. You said he's had one fight. He only lost it on a split, but he was a very good amateur.
Yeah,
and he's coming to win.
I don't know. I don't normally look at my opponents, but because this is such a big one, so I had a little search of him. I don't know if he's took a fight. I'm assuming he has, but he's won a few tournaments in Spain in amateurs. I think it was the WBC tournament or something he's won. So he's coming to fight, but that's what you need. You don't need these people who's going to cover up, because people are going to get bored, especially people like me on a ticket-based deal that I need to sell tickets to box. I can't just be having these people who don't want to fight me, because people are going to get bored of it. If I'm in a good fight, which I normally am, I can sell tickets, so it's probably best off in it, really, yeah.
What would you say is your biggest strength?
Fitness and like my man-to-man strength, like on the inside, like I can push anyone back with my strength. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not the biggest of hitters, but like I can like wear people down my body. It's a strange, not many people like. If I get you in a corner, you can't get out. It's like I'm very good at that, so I'm good at like using my weight on people and like draining them. So probably that, and obviously my fitness, yeah. But it's like my man-to-man strength.
So does your coach do a lot of that with you? Because that's your main...
that's just natural, that. But like when I came here with Craig, obviously I'd already had my style, and he said, I'm not going to try to change your style. I'm just going to try tweak a few things, which he has done, and it's starting to all come together now. Like before I came in, not many people knew who I was, but he's got me sparring in other gyms and that, and people start thinking, oh, who's this kid? Because I'm doing very well at sparring big names, so it's like I just need a break, really, and need a chance to show everyone what I can do.
And what have you been working on?
Just behind that jab, and just don't put my head over. Sometimes I always like lean in for the uppercut, where I just keep up and keep my eyes on him and keep moving and just come behind that jab. Because sometimes you should come in with looping shots, and you can't really do it at this level. You're gonna get caught. So tight guard behind the jab and just do what I do. That's what he says to me. He says, just do what you do, but keep behind that jab, tight guard. Don't lean over your front foot. And that's what I've been trying to do, really.
Nice. And did you have any bad habits as an amateur before turning over? Was there any things that might have affected the pro game?
My bad habit is like, because I like to fight, or like once I'm in there on the inside of someone, I'll throw my punches and I'll just stay there because I just want to work someone. But I should be from. I've done it ever since I was an amateur. Sometimes I still do as a pro. I've got a lot better now, but I used to throw my punches and then just stay there, and then they could get me back. And obviously, that's what used to lose me like quite a few fights, where like I'd throw, and then they'd throw the last punch, and it'd look eye catch, even though I've just thrown 3 good shots. They hit me with one at the end. But yeah, so sometimes I stay there a bit too much, where I should really just shut off punches and get out, really.
Yeah. I got, when I was in Sydney, they said the main thing, obviously be first, be last in the exchange, and always step off, which I was stepping off in a straight line backwards, so I was getting caught on the way out too often. So like stepping off laterally or rolling out, that's, I still can't do it, but that's what I'm working on.
You have to work. That's right.
So your amateur career, 50 fights, what was your hardest fight? What was your best win?
Best win, probably Owen Reese. He's a very good kid. He's a bit younger than me. I think he's over in, I don't know where, I saw on his Instagram, he's representing England this weekend, so he was a very good kid. There's another one, Ewan McKenzie, he's on the bill. He's had 5 as a pro, 3 knockouts, so probably them two, yeah. Well, what else was it? What was the other question?
So what was your hardest fight? What was your best win?
Hardest fight? Oh man, I had fights the way I fight, but me and Joe Laws had a cracker. That was a hard fight, toe-to-toe fight. He only beat me on a split decision as well, which I thought, and many people thought I won that fight, and I was only 18-year-old. I wasn't expected to. He was expected to walk through me, really. I think he'd won it the year before, actually, or I think he got the final the year before, and Akbar beat him. Oh no, I don't know if that was the year after. But anyways, I was like the new kid on the block, and we went to war. It was a good fight, that toe-to-toe fight. And
I can imagine, because I know what Joe's style's like.
Yeah. Me and him just met in the middle and just swung bombs for 3 rounds. So
I need to see that. Is that on YouTube?
I don't think it's on YouTube. There's a little clip on my Instagram at the bottom where we just he throws punches. I'm like, oh, let's go. Then I throw some at him, and he's like, oh, let's go. So it was a good fight. It was a good fight. It was a hard fight, but I enjoyed it. I enjoy them kind of fights where people stand in front of me because I don't have to chase them down. They're just there for me to fight. So, and there's another one that springs to mind. Was a hard fight which I just wasn't at the races for. It was a lad called Billy Lapulin. He's called.
I've seen it. He was in the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, Commonwealth. Well, I actually boxed him his first fight back after. So obviously I got the call and they're like, oh, do you want to come represent Yorkshire for over in Guernsey? It didn't say anything about the opponent, and I was like, yeah, too right. So anyway, I get there and like, oh, you're fighting so and so. Obviously, I didn't really care. I didn't know who he was. Anyways, I remember walking this arena. It's about, like, there must be about 1,000 people there. They weren't there then because we went beforehand, but anyways, like, I'm walking around, right, and just like everyone's holding this like magazine up, and it's got a picture of his face on the back of this like magazine. Everyone's like, oh, he's meant to be this and that. But I got in the ring and something was off that night. Like normally when I get beat, I think, oh, I could have done that, but against him, I wasn't at the races. I don't know what it was that night. I don't know if it was like the jet lag or thingy, but he was quite good.
Yeah, he's a very good quality opponent. I think did he medal in the Commonwealth Games recently?
I'm not quite sure.
No, not been watching.
To be fair, like I just didn't turn up that day. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't get battered. It was a close fight. Do you know what I mean? But it's just like knowing something sticks, you thinking, yeah, he was quite good. So, and obviously there's another one, Harvey Lambert. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah, I've heard of Harvey.
He's a good mate of mine. We boxed each other twice. I think he'll go very far in this game. Harvey Lambert is very good. He's a lot bigger puncher than what he looks like as well.
What type of power are we talking? Is it like the one punch power?
Yeah,
or?
one punch power. Like, I remember I boxed him on my home show, and I'd only had like 20 odd fights, and he was like a well known thing, but he beat me on unanimous. And then I think it was a year after I boxed him in the quarters of the CYPs, and he beat me on, like, I think it was a 4-1 split decision. Well, it was a close fight, that, but I remember when the last 10 bell goes, so it was in the last round, and he just hit me with this bolo shot to the ribs, and I was like, he hit me, and I was like, a good thing it was the last 10 seconds. I remember going to his corner at the end of the thing, you know, where you go like shake the coach's hand. I just slumped in his car, like, give me 10 seconds, lads. But yeah, he can punch in.
Is he southpaw?
Yeah, southpaw. Yeah, he's sharp. He's got that sharp power, that whip. He's got long arms, so. But yeah, he's a nice kid, Harvey Lambert. So
you said obviously you had a few decisions not go your way in the amateurs, which happens to a lot of people.
Well, yeah, exactly. Imagine if I'd beat Joe Laws and Harvey Lambert, if the split went the other way, then people would be like, oh, do you know what I mean? So it's just little things. That's like, if I've got any advice for amateurs, it's just like, just stick at it, especially in the amateurs. It's all experience. It is like, it's all vital experience, and that's all that matters, really. Like, sometimes you get ripped off and you think, oh, that's me done, but I'm so glad I never, because there was so many times where I thought, actually, this is it. Like when I said before, like my last fight, I had last fight as an amateur. Well, basically what happened is I was sparring some lad, and I got caught with a punch, and like in the spar, I didn't hurt, and I came out, my nose was like throbbing, like something I never felt before, and the next day it was swollen up. But I knew I had a fight in 2 weeks, so I thought, I'll get this fight out of the way, and then I'll get it checked out. So yeah, my nose is big anyways, but I was walking around, my nose was like that. And I thought, like, obviously, when you're at a certain level, you have to wait for fights and amateurs. So I was like, I'm definitely fighting. So anyways, it comes like a week before, and like, coach says to me, oh, you've got another fight. Someone's rang up for another fight, so I was boxing on the Wednesday and the Friday. I was like, yeah, definitely. So boxed the Wednesday, won against a lad who was unbeaten in 16 fights, do you know what I mean? So it was a very good win on his home show as well. Like, called Aaron Pete, who was a good kid. And then, so on the Friday, I boxed a lad. And anyways, I got beat on a split decision. But like after that first fight of the week, I couldn't physically breathe up my nose. Like I couldn't breathe up my nose at all. I was like, couldn't breathe. So anyways, but I was like, I'm not backing out this fight. So anyways, I lost on a split decision to the second lad. And I honestly, like, it's one of the worst decisions I've ever been a part of in my life. Like, I knew I'd won the fight. But anyway, so I had a bad cut in my nose. So I said to my dad after the fight, I said, I'll have to go get my nose checked out tomorrow. So I went to the A&E, and they looked up my nose, and they're like, you're going to have to go straight to James Cook, which is like the big hospital around here. So I went straight there. And I was waiting in A&E for about 4 hours. I was saying to my dad, because my dad came with me, I was like, I'm going to go here, it can't be that bad. But they told me, they said, they're waiting for you up there, go up there. So I was like, it can't be that bad. So literally I was about to like go. And this person came and said, oh, would you be able to come in? So anyways, one of them had a look. He said, 2 minutes. Some other bloke came in, he had a look. He said, 2 minutes. And then this surgeon bloke came and said, we booked you in for an hour for surgery. And I was like, well, no one's told me what's up with me. And I was like, what's going on here? So I said, what's up? He said, basically, you've got a septal hematoma, which is like, you know when you see like hematomas on people's heads, like, you know, you see in UFC? Well, I had one in my nose, but it was from the spine 3 weeks before, right? So what happened is it's like a pool of blood, but it's like one of them inside my nose. But because I'd left it for that long, the blood had started going septic, so it was like poison, really.
Yeah.
So I was saying, like, if it ruptures, like, and it can get in your bloodstream, it could be like not fatal, but it could be fatal. Like, obviously, I don't think mine was big enough to be fatal, but it's saying like it needs to come out now.
And
like,
you had 2 fights with this as well.
Yeah, 2 fights. I was sparring like I had 2 fights in a week with that. So anyways, they rushed me in, like literally rushed me in. I was there, and I was in surgery like an hour later, and they kept me in hospital for 4 days. Like 4 days, it's mental. Like, I was like, can I go? Like, you need to keep you in for like 4 days. And all I could think when I was sat there is like, honestly, like, I've just been ripped off here on a split decision. Like, is this worth my life? Like, not my life, because I don't think it was like, that was just like, I don't think it could have been fatal, man. I think it was too small, but
it can be.
It can be. That blood just went septic, do you know what I mean? If it ruptured in my brain, then you don't know what could have happened. But I was thinking, like, is this worth this? Like me putting my, but now I turned the corner, and I'm so glad I did, because look at me now, I'm boxing at the Newcastle Arena on Troy's undercard in front of thousands of people. Imagine if I didn't do that. Imagine if I just stopped it then and thingy. So
what made you want to turn pro after being robbed, having a near-death experience?
Just like, I don't know, I just knew that, like, something's inside me where you just think, like, I can't give up, do you know what I mean? I think loads of people have that, where they're just like something, like a voice inside saying you've came this far. And I knew, like, my style was a lot more suited to the pro game. I always knew it, and everyone's always said that to me, like, just over the longer rounds I can break people's heart and I can just walk them down. That's what I'm good at. So it was that, and just, I'd done it for that long. I thought, I can't give up now, do you know what I mean?
Before we go any further in the podcast, I would just like to thank the proud sponsors of Not Just Boxing. Not Just Boxing is proudly sponsored by Titan Boxing. Titan Boxing is a UK fast-growing boxing business. They do personalised gloves, pads, t-shirts, everything. They've got UK free shipping. Go check them out with the link on screen. Gymfluencers.com are proud sponsors of Not Just Boxing. They are the premier health and fitness website. There you can find supplement discount codes, freebies, giveaways, a macro calculator. There's all sorts on there. So go check them out at gymfluencers.com or check out their on Instagram at gymfluencers.official. How much time did you have out after that before you decided to turn pro?
I can't remember now.
Was there lockdown involved with all of this as well?
I think the lockdown was just before all that, so it was after the lockdown. But because I think the ABAs were coming up as well just after I had that operation and stuff, and I would have done very well in them, because obviously I always used to do 69 kilo, but I think it was one way it was 70. They just got the new weights in. It was 71 kilo, and I had the elite belt at 71 kilo at time, days and weight, and that when you box on the same day, the last few kilos used to kill me, and I wasn't the fighter I was at 69 compared to 71. Do you know what I mean? So I think it was Craig that said as well. He said that you might as well just turn over. So once he said that, I thought, I'd already made my mind up as well. But once he said that, I thought, actually, yeah, I want to give it a go, and I'm glad I did, like I said. So.
And what was the process of turning over? Was there a lot of stress that come with it? Because obviously you're not going to be working full time.
Yeah, it was for me because I've got this medical condition called the underactive thyroid. I don't know if you know what that is. It's basically like it's like a hormone thing, and like it's like if you don't take medication, you can put weight on quite easy. You get depressed. Like if you look into it, it's quite. People say I don't know how you do boxing with that. It's mental, but so anyways, obviously, I've took it since I was like 10-year-old. This tablet. But obviously, I had to get it all sorted with the British Board of Boxing, which was a massive process. I had to get all my doctors and that to sign loads of things. So that was a nightmare, really. But it's a tablet that I need to take. So I'm all passed off now, obviously. But
that can be quite dangerous. My grandma's got underactive thyroid, and she left it for so long that she was in a really bad way because they didn't know what it was.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's like when I was a kid, I was massively overweight and I was tired all the time. At first, I thought I had diabetes, but obviously, you have to test. I used to get severe migraines as well after test. I found out was that, thankfully. But yeah,
how long did it take for them to find out?
Well, I started having tests at I can't remember how old I was now, but it was a good year or so before I actually found out what it was. But
that must have been tough alone, dealing with an underactive thyroid. People don't understand.
No, I don't have a clue, mate. When I still have to work at the minute, so like my routine is I get home from work and I have to have a nap. Like I'm not tired. Like people I have to have a nap until like 6:30 and go to boxing, come home shattered. Like
what are you doing for work?
Civil engineer. I just started. I used to be on the tools. I used to be like a ground worker, like tarmacking, which is hard itself. I used to do a lot of tarmacking or flagging, and I used to go to boxing after. And that didn't help. But now I've got a new traineeship in civil engineering, which is like drawings and like quantity surveying and all that. So. Just something to fall back on. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket. I'm not one of them people have where people like China who do very good as an amateur. They don't need a job. They've got all these sponsors and things where people like who have to start at the bottom like me. You kind of have to have a plan B sometimes. Not that I'm not like saying I won't make it because I believe I will, but you have to be humble sometimes. I think actually I can't put all my eggs in one basket here. Do you know what I mean? In case it doesn't work out, and I've got nothing. So at least if it doesn't work out with boxing, I've got this qualification that I can go back into the job with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very smart. You always need to know an exit strategy, a plan B, and boxing doesn't last long anyway in terms of career life.
No, it doesn't at all. Like I believe I'll go to the top, but I'm also humble enough to think actually I can't put all my eggs in one basket, and I think that humility, well, if that's how you say it. Because I'm a humble kid, like I'm willing to learn, and that'll take me all the way. I think so. Yeah, you can't. I can't. I don't know how people afford it. Anyways, like people, all these like they either like rinse and sponsors or what. Cause I don't know how people afford not to work, especially on people like on the low levels like me. Like at the minute, small all shows. I don't know how they're doing it. So
it's a very tough route. It is. people don't realise, do they?
They don't have a clue, mate. Like. With me, like people like, as if you're still working when you're a professional boxer. Like, I say, you don't have a clue, mate. Like, you have to sell a certain amount of tickets just to fight. You know what I mean? And then people don't have a clue, but it's boxing. That's boxing feeling it. So,
have you got a bit of a exit strategy with your full-time job so you can go pro full-time with boxing? It maybe personal train on the side a little bit, or
no? I've got this.
Would you be able to cut the hours down on what you're doing, maybe? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, it's a possibility once I'm fully qualified, but like I said, like at the minute I do 2 days release at Middlesbrough College, and that doesn't start till 9, so I do my strength conditioning, where before I couldn't do strength conditioning because I used to start work at 7, where now I'm doing my strength conditioning at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday morning, and then on a Saturday morning, where we do Saturday before, and that's because I'm at college now, and but yeah, the thing is, right, even if I didn't work, I still only train the same because I run before work and I train after work. I wouldn't be training 3 times a day if I didn't work, so at the minute it's all right. But once I start getting to them 12-round fights, and I'm going to have to start thinking, do you know what I mean? But I need to get there first. So.
Well, you've got a big exposure coming up. Exactly, that's huge. Are you signed with anyone at the moment?
Phil Jeffries is the manager, which is quite big. He's probably the biggest Northeast manager promoter, so...
And have you got many sponsors?
I normally do fight sponsors. I don't have any full-time sponsors. I have a main sponsor who actually doesn't want to be named, which is quite surprising, but fair play to him. He paid for my next year's medical fees. So
how much are medical fees? About £1,000?
About £1,000, yeah. And he gave me that cash. And he said, I don't want anyone to know. So I don't know why he said that, but that's some good people like out there, in there. So
yeah, you need such a bit, even though it's a lonely sport, you need that support network around you to make it.
Yeah, so I've got a main sponsor and I just do fight sponsors where obviously I put the logos on my t-shirt. Obviously I just give them a ticket for the fight for like a certain price, really. So.
And what's your plans over the next year then? Where do you see yourself after this fight?
Get this next fight out of the way, hopefully get a win. Do probably 2 6-rounders next, and then Northern Area. Definitely 100% Northern Area title.
Who's got that at the moment, or is it one of those that sort of get won and then vacated?
I don't know, that's what I mean. Like there's a welterweight one which I think I could probably make if I did a water cut. I haven't tried it yet, but there's a welterweight one. I don't know if it is a light middle one. So I have one of the two really I could go for. If there is a light middle one, I'm not sure.
Have you got a nutritionist?
Nah, but I do. I've got like a meal prep company. They don't sponsor me, like, so I ain't gonna say what they are. But yeah, I get meal prep, so works every time, so I don't change it really.
So obviously, the stress of boxing and everything that comes with it. What brings you? What makes you keep coming back, keep improving? What's your biggest motivator?
I just want, like, sounds shallow on that, because from where I've came from, where I am now. Like when I first started boxing, I just want to go down as the best ever to do it from my hometown. And that's no disrespect to any other boxers from my hometown, because there was some very good ones, but I just think from where I've came from to where I am now, it's an achievement in itself. But yeah, I want to be walking down the street in 30 years' time, and someone goes to the kid here, see that lad over there, he's the best ever to do it from this town. And obviously, I believe I'll win titles as well, so. But yeah, I just want a legacy. I'm not bothered about money. Like someone said to me before, it stuck with me. I think it was my old boxing coach. He said, if you're in boxing for the money, you're in it for the wrong reasons. Which is like, it's right really, because I just want to be known. Legacy. I want legacy. That's what I want. I want to be able to look back of what I've achieved and say actually, like something to be proud of. Do you know what I mean? So.
Well, you're starting your career. You've got a tough fight coming up against a good amateur. Yeah. You train with Troy, British champ, that's moving on to bigger things.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in a good gym. You've had a good amateur background.
Yeah, exactly, man. There's no up, really.
Yeah, there's no reason why you can't go any further.
Nah, definitely not, man.
So what do you do out of boxing? What do you get up to when? Obviously, I know you probably haven't got much time, really, have you? When you're working and training all the time.
I still work. I train. That's about it, really. Me and our lass just got a new dog there, a little miniature dachshund, so nice. He's a puppy at the minute, so he just takes up all my time, but other than that, nothing really. I'm quite not boring. My lass calls me boring, but it's quite a simple man, really. Just chill out. If I go boxing, just chill out after on the weekend. There's not much you can do, really, when you're in training and stuff. You like... Yeah,
when you're disciplined, there's only a few things you can do. Walks, maybe other sports.
I like to go on. I go quite a few holidays a year. I've got a good holiday coming up in January. Me and our girlfriend going to Asia for 3 weeks. It's a big trip, so I'm looking forward to that.
Whereabouts?
Singapore, Bali, Phuket, Bangkok. It's like 6 cities, I think it is, in 3 weeks. So
you're gonna have the best time. I've done all the travelling there, and it's. Have you been there before?
Nah, my girlfriend has, but I haven't. So I'm looking forward to it. She's only been to Thailand, I think. So all the rest is new. So
hopefully you don't put on too much weight.
No.
The food is so good.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm scared of. But
what are you most excited for on the trip?
Don't know. It's like just being in new places and seeing what the culture's like. But there's that Tiger gym in there. Is that what it's called? Where is that, in Bangkok or Phuket?
In Phuket, on Tiger Road.
Yeah. So I might go there.
Well, I sparred some UFC guys in there.
And I saw some of them go. Hopefully that Hamzat Shemai's now.
It's mad. Like it's like, obviously I'm an amateur boxer, and you just get chucked in with these random, like, it was just some Russian dude, and he was just throwing haymakers at me. It was horrendous. It was good though. It kept me on my toes. But you got to do it when you're out there.
Yeah, 100%.
Are you going to see one of the Muay Thai fights as well?
Yeah. I think there's a bar in there. Someone's telling me there's a bar, right, where you can fight in and get free drinks or something like that. But
yeah, Jungle Bar in PP Island, but there's full of mismatches. I got a good story with that. So there was an Essex guy, and he had like all his teeth, like fake tan, everything. Seemed like a nice guy, but never had gloves on in his life.
Yeah.
And he's walking around. He's like, go on, give me some. And they're 3 1-minute rounds, and we were sat there for ages. Like we sat there for 20 minutes. I was like, "The people fighting here or what?" And then we finally see this guy walk in with his daughter. I think he was Russian as well. Didn't say a word. Went up to the people. Yeah, just got changed on the side. His daughter's just stood on the side of the ring filming him. I might be able to show the knockout on the podcast. I've got it on my Instagram. But he gets in. This other guy gets in. The other guy's like all loose, like because he thinks he's having a laugh. Little does he know he's about to get assassinated.
So, some Russian killer.
It goes ding ding. Like not even a minute goes by, and the guy's got his chin in the air, and he's obviously throwing whatever, and no disrespect to him, but they shouldn't have allowed it really. Like the whole experience is bad. So he's got his chin in the air and he's coming in throwing, he just slaps, and the Russian guy throws his first hard shot, chin in the air, he's out cold, flops, but he was out for like 5 minutes, and the worst part about all of it, the Russian guy got out, got changed, went to his daughter and walked out. And the other guy was like still in the ring. Yeah, he's still in the ring.
I've got a funny story. I saw some lad who used to train with Dan Emo. He put it on his own Instagram. Anyways, he went in there and he was fighting against this like small, like fat Thai bloke, right? If you looked at this Thai bloke, you wouldn't think anything of it. And Dan was a good boxer. Anyway, Dan's like pinging his head off in the box. And next thing, this bloke just goes a spinning like back fist, just sits him clean down, like puts him down. Anyway, Dan gets straight back up, but it was like a heavy shot, you know what I mean? So it just shows like never judge a book by its colour.
Never.
But yeah, Dan was pinging his head off this little Thai bloke, and he's spinning back fist him, and he chops him, he's like, oh.
Because they kick in there as well, didn't they? If you want to. Have you ever taken any leg kicks?
Yeah, I have actually, but it's a mad story as well, another good story. When I was like, I can't remember what it was, I just started boxing, I was like 13 maybe, and well, I'd been doing it a few years, and there was this like woman who came down to the boxing club. I think she was like a world champion kickboxer, but she was like a woman, so obviously I was sparring and I was getting a few shots off. Next thing you know, she just like throws a leg kick at me. Obviously with them, it's just like natural, it's just like a natural reflex. You know what I mean? She hit me with this leg kick, right? I'm not joking you. I had to fight back the tears. I'm not joking. Like everyone was there. I was like, trying to, I was like, can't cry. I was like, everyone. The thing was stopped. And I was like, trying to fight back these tears. Like she just gave me this leg kick when I was like 12-year-old. I was like, but yeah, they hurt. They do it. I felt them first hand. You know what I mean?
Never again. No, I wouldn't be able to do MMA.
Nah.
And when you see the leg breaks and the ankles and the knees, like, did you ever see Anderson Silva when his leg wrapped around?
No, he threw the kick as well, didn't he?
Oh yeah,
it's been a few like that. Like yeah, well, to be fair, I enjoy watching UFC. I really do, because it's entertainment, and what I like about that is like the one title structure where the best have to fight the best. And that's what boxing should be, but it's too much money in politics and boxing for that to happen. So. But I like that thingy where it's like you have to fight the best to be the champion because there's only one belt, so yeah, it's a good format.
They could probably create a boxing organisation slowly. They could probably do it. Obviously, it'd be separate from things. You'd have to have your own belts and stuff, but it could happen. Yeah,
definitely. I hope it does, because I think the more and more things that are going on with boxing, the more UFC and MMA stakes are rising, to be fair. That's to be deadly honest with you. It's
a bit of a mockery now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's taking the piss. Like, for example, like, I don't want to start bad mouthing people, but there's people like
YouTubers.
Not YouTube. Well, yeah, YouTubers, yeah. But even for example, like, it's gonna come out wrong here because I've got nothing against him at all. But on this show I'm on, Aaron Chambers, right? He's getting. There's boxers like me, right? Who I've lucky enough to get on the card, but there's other boxers who in the northeast who are miles of fighter that he is, and they won't even get a sniff at shows like that. And just because he's been on Geordie Shaw and that, he gets to fight on the card. And then big boxers like me who've put their whole life into the sport after don't get on. It's mental, really, but.
Yes. The worst part is I'm
just glad I've got on. Yeah. There's boxers out there, especially boxers that I know, because my manager who's putting a show on the week before there, and I was meant to be fighting on that show. But anyway, I managed to get on there, and there's boxers on that card there who are very, very good, and they don't get the look on these cards because people like him are getting on. Like it's mad. It's crazy, really. But
I hate to say it, money talks.
it does, mate. 100%. 100%.
It's like the cover up with Conor Benn that went on for weeks. At the end of the day, he did fail 2 drug tests.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's no black and white. They still tried to make the event go on with a fighter that's dehydrated with a rehydration clause.
It's naughty. Like,
millions involved. So, like, you see just how much, even with the drug testing side, how much money has an influence on it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, like, obviously he has. It's in his system, innit? So you can't say he never took it because it's there, and he's. What I didn't like about it was he's saying it was like they're contaminated in the lab, like VAD or whatever it is. They're like the best of the best. There's no way contamination can happen. No way. Unless he meant it like in his food or something. But I thought he meant. I'm sure he said it was contaminated in a lab or something.
I think he said a few things. Yeah. He also said someone might have given him food or something, but
I don't know. Like, obviously,
pretty sure it's a pill. I'm pretty sure clomiphene, it comes just as a pill. It's like a tablet. You wouldn't be able to get traces of that in a fajita.
No, you're right, mate. You're right. Well, he's stopped his British boxing license, hasn't he? But that was off his own accord, wasn't it? So see what happens now.
I think that's to cover his back with the investigation. It's a shame because everyone going into that fight was all keen for Conor Benn. He had a great rise.
I fancied Eubank. Me, like, did you? Or who did you?
As a boxing, if I was to put a punt on, I thought Eubank, just because he is naturally bigger. He dropped Liam Williams with a jab.
Yeah, exactly.
That alone.
He's a killer at Liam Williams as well.
Yeah. So I feel like there are levels, and Eubank's been mixing at the world level. He's come short.
Yeah.
But he weighed more, and he's mixed at a bigger level.
Well, I thought Eubank was going to put it on him. But I know a lad who was helping Eubank out sparring, and he was saying like all the sparring he was doing, he was all like, what he was doing like with Roy Jones is where the counter punching. That's all he was doing, which I think if you let Conor Benn come on you like that, then he'll win. I think the way out to beat Conor Benn, right, is fight fire with fire. I swear to God, I think if you put him on his back foot, because all these fights that he's fought, people have allowed him to do what he wants to do. Like, I'm not saying Eubank couldn't outbox him, but I think if Eubank put it on him, it would beat him a lot easier than he would try to counter punch him. Because all that, if you give Conor Benn that space, he only needs that one shot. You're going to sleep at that range where he throws. But if you're on the inside of him, outworking him, which I think Eubank could do with the strength as well, pushing him back, I think that's where Conor Benn's weakness is, on his back foot. I think
you hit the nail on the head there. Yeah. Putting him on his back foot. You've seen some of his tough fights in the past that he's had questionable wins in the past. But when he does get walked down, he's got no answers. Yeah,
exactly. That's what I think. All these fights he's had where he's looked good, where people have allowed him to do what he wants to do.
He's so explosive, though. I think
he is. That's what I mean. But
besides all the drug test stuff, it was so nice to see. Like, just his style, it was good to the eye.
Refreshing. Yeah. But that's what I mean. This is what people say, like, you don't want to stay on the side of them, the big fighters, but the big power fighters. But yeah, if you're tight with man, they can't get the leverage. You can't. Like, yeah, you can, but if you're standing off people, letting them walk you down, the leverage is like at length. That's where you get your leverage. When you're on the inside tight, because I know that's where I fight. It's hard to get shots off when you're that tight to someone. Do you know what I mean?
Because you're also quite tall for your weight.
Very tall. Which people think, you must be like a boxer, but it comes in handy. But sometimes it doesn't as well, because I'm a bigger target on the inside. But but like I said, I use my body against people. Like, put my weight on them. So it's like, I'm like, what's his name? Who was that one who got done with the plastic gloves? That Margarita.
Yeah,
so I'm like a bit like him, come forward tall gadget. You know what I mean? So,
that was crazy. That he was like the most hated man in boxing.
I know. How would that even happen? How does it not hurt his hands? How does that not hurt his hands?
Did you see the video part the other day of the fella just smashing wood?
No,
There's like an Indian guy just punching wood like as hard as he could.
Yeah.
I'll show you after this.
Yeah, but that way, like, you bust his face up, right?
Yeah.
How did not?
He's probably got some kind of sponge wraps in the middle.
Yeah. Because that's why I've always thought, like, surely his hands would be obliterated if you see his face. But then Cotto got his revenge, didn't he, and beat him up next fight. So.
Yeah, you saw clearly how he lost because of the bricks.
Yeah.
The plaster of Paris.
It's not really, but yeah.
Who's your biggest inspiration in boxing?
Truthfully, like, I don't know. it sounds mad, but I don't like. When I was a kid, I didn't even used to watch boxing really. Like I just did it because I liked fighting and. Don't know, like I don't really have a fighter that I look up to or anything like that. My dad, like he was a good boxer in the army, but I wouldn't say like I do boxing because of him. Do you know what I mean? Like when I first started boxing, believe it or not, I didn't even know my dad. We didn't even used to talk about my dad. I didn't even know my dad was a boxer till years down the line. That's just the way my dad is. But I don't know. I don't really have an inspiration really. It sounds like obviously I look up to my dad, but not like in the boxing way. I don't see a fighter and say, oh, I want to be like him. I'm just my own man, really. Do you know what I mean? So.
What about style-wise, maybe? Is there anyone out there that you ever watch to replicate in a way before a session?
Nah, like my favourite fighter is Triple G, just because his fight style. But what I like about people is where like, well, most boxers you'll probably know yourself, who know they can fight, but they don't not a bully with it. They're like the nice, like humble people. Like he's a humble killer, and he doesn't have to. You don't have to be. Like I've always been taught, it's nice to be nice. Do you know what I mean? Like I like people who are like proper killers, but are humble with it. Do you know what I mean? That's all I like. That's a bit like myself. Do you know what I mean? Like I can fight, but I'm no bully. Do you know what I mean? I'm a nice person, so.
I'm the exact same.
Yeah,
I think they're the best type of people. Yeah, Khabib in
exactly,
UFC
Khabib,
as well.
exactly. He's an absolute killer and he's humble. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to be. But you see these people, like you see them and they have like 2 boxing fights. I know a few people, they have 2 boxing fights, and you see them like trying to like bully people and stuff like that. Like it's nuts really, but that's just where some people are built and brought up. So.
Yeah, I've coached a bit on the side over the years, helped out in places and that. And as soon as someone has that ego, that is a bit of a bully. Yeah. I think the longer they're in the gym, the better. Like it rubs off on them. If you're being humbled and you're being beaten up 3 times a week,
that's what I mean.
By better people, like I think you're going to soon realise that you are down here.
Yeah, that's like, the people who are the most cocky on the streets now. The people who've never had a fight, because boxers, we know how hard fighting is, and like I've been in the rings with people who can't even look me in the eyes, and the fucking hard as nails. Do you know what I mean? So like people who think, oh yeah, I'd be able to fight and this and that, mate. They don't have a clue. They actually do not have a clue. Mm-hmm. Like about how hard fighting is. When people go boxing, they know how hard fighting is. So like they double think it sometimes, thinking, oh, should I get into this here? But people who don't really fight or hit the odd daft drunken gadget down the town, they think they're fighting. They don't have a clue. Like, they don't have a clue. But that's just life, innit? And so
yeah, there was a boy. He was a bit of a bully. He was in my work in Sydney, and he ended up offering me out. And I thought, for what it's worth, when you have gloves on, get yourself a gum shield. Yeah. And I just schooled him for 3 rounds.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
And it was friendly. And after that, it was like, I want to learn boxing. And you're like, you need to learn a bit more than just the sport. Yeah, there's so much more that goes to it. Like it's fine me beating someone that's never had gloves on before, but you need to realise that you can't act that way. Like you're just a bad person. People in life need to have more. The younger generation don't have that respect anymore.
No, they don't, mate. Like it's crazy. I don't know what it is now. Honestly, I don't know if it's like, I don't know what it is, but it's just generations now. You see like videos. I saw one the other day, and like these kids like beating up some old bloke and stuff. Like it's mad, really. Like as well, like my girlfriend's family, they're running a few pubs in where I live, and we live above it. And there's these like kids just like they're always just messing about like outside and stuff, and it's just like I get it, like the board and stuff like that, but some of the things that they do, and it's just like
there's a limit. I think when we're all kids, we all have those moments. We're all up to no good, but like exactly. You still have that respect for your elders. You still know in the back of your head that what you're doing is wrong. Yeah.
Like, lad, anyways, like obviously everyone used to be a bit mischievous, but some things you just don't do. Do you know what I mean? Like, but yeah, I don't know what it is. Kids these days just mad at us, so I don't know.
And for anyone listening, for example, the amateur boxers and that, what advice would you give them? Because obviously you've overcome some wrong decisions, you've had crazy injuries.
Yeah, just think like, just don't give up. Like I said, I was gonna give up quite a few times, and I mean, if you hands now, look at me now, I wouldn't have believed what I've achieved. So just keep going, just keep training hard, keep 100%, and your time will come 100%. That's all I've got to say, really, mate.
Nice. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on, mate.
You too, man, mate.
All the best on December the 2nd.
Thank you very much.
Take care, bro.